was on the phone once a Shabbos for 2 hours with a family that has kids all over the world. And many of them said, oh, we don't know what this guy, who is this Avi Fishoff? He's not an expert. You don't become an expert by spending 20 years helping people. You become an expert by going to school. That's the only way. It's ridiculous. But he doesn't have a plaque. I have plaque. He doesn't have a license. And who is he? And this one's angry about this. And they're all going to be angry and they're going to attack me. We had a beautiful, beautiful meeting. By the end of the meeting, there were tears. The mother was crying. The father was crying. They were so macabre. I needed to explain to them what their tafkid is with this child. And they were so on board. And the angriest one, the toughest one, the most rebellious one who struggled with so much things, who wanted to he stole the show. The last half, he was the one fighting my whole thing. And therefore, what we need to do is, it takes a family to save a life. It takes a family, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, and it takes one person in the family to give a nasty look or like that, to stab someone and hurt a neshama forever. We have kids who finally, they come into a wedding after not being there, a chasana, a bar mitzvah, they come to a simcha, and someone goes and look, or you think they're not blind, right? They're just inappropriate, but they're not blind. They see that people are talking about them, and they feel so bad, they run out, and we've had kids overdose, stick a needle in their arm. Would you like it if you walked into a room and you know people are talking about you and judging you and looking down at you, and that's going to bring them back to Yiddishkeit? It's horrible. And some people say things, mavayish them, make them embarrassed. I mean, do they not even know? Forget about the kid for a second. Do they not know that when you mavayish somebody, that you get all their sins and they get all your mitzvahs? That's not a very smart person. You know, we should explain to people. If you embarrass somebody else, all the money in your savings account goes to them and all their debt goes to you. I bet you wouldn't do it. No, so you know why they do it? In the name of Hashem.
That's what my brother
In the name of Hashem. In the name of Hashem. I'm going to do it in the name of Hashem. Hashem says, no. Hashem says, you're not usser, 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 usser. We know the story of Reb Kanievsky. She got so angry at somebody who embarrassed a Chiloni girl that was next to her without clothing and all of that. She came from Tel Aviv and a guy embarrassed her. She got sick from it. Gedolim can't take that you should be mavayish a human being, especially a human being, but especially a yid. You don't know where they're coming from. You don't know, and be makar of them. That's what frum people do. That's supposed to be our nature, not to look down at them. So we need everybody on board. Everybody on board. First of all, so we don't get any negative people, because you can have 1,000 people in the room and one person can mess it up. One negative look and they hurt so much. I had so many conversations with Kips in Home Sweet Home. And I said, I understand that one person looked down at you, but 900 of them didn't look down at you. It doesn't matter. One person representing Hashem with the beard or with the frum person in the name of God is stabbing me, you lost Yom Kippur, you lost Shabbos, you get pushed away. Why? We can't do that. And it's very hard to walk into a room when I have no shaykhs to these people for 2 years, for 3 years. They didn't hear I was sick. They didn't hear I was suicidal. They didn't care that I disappeared. Nobody comes to visit me. These kids are so much sicker, so much, not sicker, so much less, what's the word? They're so worse off. Is that English? They're much more worse off than anybody with a physical illness. Nobody visits them. What? Disadvantaged. Nobody's sending over help for the parents. Nobody's coming to visit the kid. They tell me all the time, I wish I had cancer. Can you imagine how a person should say that? He says, life would be great. No criticism from anybody. Nobody thinks I could be doing better. Nobody's sure that I'm lazy. Nobody's convinced I'm a manipulator. Nobody's sure that really it's fake and why can't you and I'm selfish. No, they bring me food and everybody smiles at me. And Uncle Moshe comes and Mordechai and David comes and Avram Fried comes and Yishai Rebo comes and they're flying me anything because he's sick. And these kids want to die. they're in so much pain, and these thick-headed individuals that know nothing about this refuse to admit it. So they're just sure, no, they're manipulators. I spoke to one of the brothers, like, she's a manipulator. I know that she went through a lot. They knew, but she's using it. So I said, first of all, if you know somebody went through what she went through, so let her use it. What does she want? Attention? Give her attention. Would you want to be her in the next Gilgal? Would you want to come down and go through what these kids go through? He said, no. I said, so maybe she deserves it. Maybe. I said, second of all, I wouldn't let her manipulate. I would give her the attention beforehand. Just be super nice to her. What are we asking of you? Be nice to somebody who's sad. She's a user, she's an abuser. I said to her, isn't that convenient? So now you don't have to do anything, right? You don't have to go out of your way. You don't have to go travel to her. She's in a different city. You don't have to work on your own midos. Very convenient. You have Hashem sent you somebody that needs, that according to all the Svarim and all the rabbis, tremendous love, requires you to have rachum, chanun, infinite patience. Spend money, be inconvenienced, right? And you get to save all of that by just saying, boo, 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 boo. Wow, isn't that convenient for you? You don't have to go visit her because she's a manipulator. You don't have to be on the side of bringing her back. You don't have to be macabre. I said, but let's say you're right. She's a manipulator and she's evil. Blah, blah, blah. So why can't you be nice to someone and why can't you bring her back? And why can't you do, he was from, if they're not from, I could say, why can't you just be human? You care about the trees and you care about the environment. You don't care about your sister. Because, be nice to her, even though she's a manipulator, even though she's selfish, which is not the case. But this guy was from. I said, so you could be Makarever. The Chazon Ish said what to do, the Baal Shem Tov said to do. He was Lubavitcher. I'm like, hello? And you're giving up on your entire, everything that you live for, because you don't like her attitude? Be Makarever anyway. And he had nothing to say. So sometimes we just need to meet and talk and explain. And since that meeting that I had with them on Zoom, the parents said it's unbelievable. Different world. So we have to make sure everybody's on board. We can't have one person. And if you have someone in the family that is obstinate, is that the word? Yeah. Thank you. And then they can't come to your simcha. You may have to go to their simcha with you. It might be a problem to keep them away. But you say, I'm so sorry, but I can only invite people who are nice to my kid. And her life is in danger. His life is in danger. His life, Elam Hazeh, Elam Haba, Guf, Nefesh, Ruach, Neshama. I'm really sorry, we'll miss you. But you can't come. Unless you promise that you're just going to be nice. And if that's too hard, then I suggest that you move out of town for a few years and learn how to be nice to people. Maybe you're in Brooklyn too much. I said basically the whole TP is just learning how to act like we live in Chicago. You know, I was in Chicago, I was driving, I told you this story, I was driving on Devon Avenue, which is like Ocean Avenue, which is like Main Street, okay, in Kew Hills, right? And I had to make a U-turn with cars blocking, and it took me like a half hour. I was 19 years old. Not one honk. The traffic was backed up on each side, like 30 cars on each side. I'm not exaggerating. It was like, and I'm like trying to make it like not a K, it was like a KKK. I was basically the Ku Klux Klan. I was trying to make a KKK turn, and I'm going back and forth and back and forth. And finally, I rolled down the window. Remember we had to do this? Nebuch! We had to do this, but you know, now we just like, soon it's going to be just think. You just look at the window, give a wink, and it goes down. Right? But we had to work hard, and I would say, and I was facing this way while the cars are this way. I was smack this, and I was stuck. So I rolled down the window, and they put that. I said, I'm so sorry. And they're like, no, it's fine. I'm like, really? Do you mind if I park here and go get a drink and come back? No problem. So different than Brooklyn. In Brooklyn, I always, whenever I'm at a red light, I'm not going to say this publicly because I don't think you're allowed to be on your phone. But let's say somebody would be on their phone. People say, but how are you going to know when the light turns green? Not a problem. We solve that. As soon as the light turns green, you will hear from right behind you, eh. You're not even going to hear beep, beep. No. You're going to hear, eh, you beeping, beeping, move your car. It's like, it just turned green a second ago. Just go beep, beep. Like, no, you're not going to hear beep. You're going to get, I will run you over. We have places to go. That's you. What's crazy is they do that even when you go 4 feet and the whole next street is backed up, they will still do that. Block the intersection and move. We have 3 feet. We can go now. We got it. So just basically the whole thing, what are we asking for? Ma avi shoel mimcha. Make believe like you're from out of town. Just be nice. Don't be so smart, because otherwise it's dangerous. Boy, Ner Yisrael, Kip, sweet kid. Everybody who knew him on the street, sweet, sensitive, caring, nice. And with the right treatment of just being nice and treating him like a mensch, he could be like so many kids that came back. But he came to a simcha, and somebody in the family went over to him. Die belongs nicht du. You don't belong here. Yeah, he had a ponytail. He didn't dress the proper way. Fine. Doing it for attention. Okay. Die belongs nicht du. You don't belong here. And 10 minutes later, he hung himself. You don't know where someone else is holding. To be merachik, even b'machshava. To be merachik somebody, to make them feel unwanted, you're taking responsibility for lives. These days, it's lives. The guy didn't want to kill him. He meant l'shem shemayim. Someone's got to teach him a lesson. It's not a hefgewelt. You can't just come here dressing like that. How's he going to know? Beautiful. You're not an expert on this. Just be nice. That's all we're asking for. Rabbi said we have to applaud, because Baruch Hashem, and it's Hashem by every single person here, and it's going to happen. We hit 150 TP Kids Shomer Torah mitzvahs. Kein Yirveh for every single one. Each one is a miracle. I mean, each one. Now, why some of them happen quicker, and why some of you are doing so much better than some of them? Some of them was so quick, and I'm like, they're not even really good at this. Hashem runs the world. Each one in its own time. But you know your jobs. Your tafkid is to hold your kid tight and to not let anybody hurt them, and to do everything in the world to give them a safe, secure haven. The home has to be a place that they're the most comfortable in the world, even if you have to move, even if you have to turn over your life. This is a neshama that Hashem gave you, and you can do it. You have to do it. They can't come to a home where they feel the poison, they're allergic, and people are looking at them. Oh, that's him, really? All of that stuff. You got to take a break. You can move back in a couple of years, in Mitzvah Hashem, when things are good. But you do everything you can to boost the neshama and to protect them, because it's such a crazy problem. We have in Klal Yisrael, like the biggest fire in Klal Yisrael. Fire. So many beautiful homes, kids off the derech. And all we need to do to win is just be nice. The whole medicine. Nobody be merachik. Nobody be judgmental. Everybody be sweet. Everybody be nice. And that's the whole medicine.